Hey folks, Big D here. Today we're going to go ahead and talk Dunmer politics. The political landscape of contemporary Morrowind is often confusing to outlanders, probably because outlanders shouldn't be here at all. But just in case any NWAs on YouTube are wondering how we do things here in the land of the Dunmer, I'm going to explain our system to you in simple terms that even an Argonian could understand if its owner breaks the law and teaches it how to read and understand our language. Today, Morrowind is governed by 5 great houses, each with their own distinct set of values, principles, and ideals. There was a 6th house that genuinely had Morrowind's best interests at heart, but they kind of got shafted by certain false gods. It's a long story. But we're just going to focus on the 5 currently in power. Those 5 houses are House Hlaalu, House Redoran, House Telvanni, House Indoril, and House Dres. Yeah, I know House Hlaalu was dissolved and replaced by another group of fuckheads, but I'm a Morrowind character and goddammit I'm handling this from a Morrowind perspective. Representatives from each of the houses collectively sit on the Great Council, which existed under the authority of an imperial puppet king until my volcanic condo erupted and gave half of Morrowind the Pompeii treatment. So let's break down each of the houses and their ideologies from a living god's point of view. We'll start with House Hlaalu. The councillors of House Hlaalu are outstanding merchants. They turned their house into a remarkably successful bootlicking business when the Empire first took control of Morrowind. And man, have they cunnilingus the fuck out of those imperial boots over the past few centuries. They claim to be all modern and egalitarian, but one of their main shot callers is Orvis Dren. And I've personally sold that guy more farming tools than almost any other nobleman in Vardenfell. King Shit-for-Brains himself was a member of this clown show of a political organization, and frankly, if you don't take the opportunity to kill him in Test 3, I think you're just wasting everybody's time. Overall, not a good house to invest oneself in. Trust me, they don't do well in the 4th era. Holy Nerevar, the pathetic bastards couldn't even pull off a coup in Ravenrock when the Dragonborn visited Solstheim. How many guards were even in that town? 4? 5? Fuck, man. Oh hell, House Redoran. Imagine if all the kids in class who asked, "Are you going to collect the homework?" grew up and formed a political organization. That's this insufferable great house to a T. Counselors of this house will send their lackeys on the most terrifying quests known to man. And when the handful of survivors come back for their reward, the counselors are like, "Well done. Your reward is honor. Keep up the good work and you might get this cool pebble that's kind of shaped like a mud crab." What the fuck would possess someone to work for this house? But Lord Dagoth, House Redoran defends tradition. Yeah, tribunal temple tradition maybe. I don't respect doofuses who white knight for Vivek. You Redoran dorks even know what Vivek does all day in his palace? Floating yoga poses. Fuck House Redoran, let's move on. House Telvanni. As far as great houses go, I actually have a fair amount of respect for this house of learned wizards and witches. Many of them are fucking batshit insane, but in a wholesome and racially superior way. It should be noted that they do allow outlanders into their ranks these days, which is pretty unfortunate. But some of the house's counselors are old enough for the dementia to start setting in, so I'll give them a pass this one time. House Telvanni's claim to fame is its pursuit of arcane knowledge at any cost. They don't have much interest in the actual governance of the country because they're more focused on attaining personal power than defending Morrowind's cultural values. But their fortresses are made of shrooms, so it's not like their eccentric behavior is some kind of mystery. And I do sympathize with their views on labor laws, particularly when discussing workers of Khajiit and Argonian descent. Let's move on to House Indoril before this awkward silence makes me feel uncomfortable. House Indoril. Fuck, the name Indoril still sends chills right down my Dagoth. House Indoril was the house of the OG Nerevar, but his image and legacy have largely been co-opted by the Tribunal because the Tribunal are cunts. I appreciate the ancient housemen of Indoril for creating Nerevar's impeccable penis, but at this point the interests of the Tribunal Temple and House Indoril are so deeply intertwined that I consider the organization well beyond saving. They agree with my stance on labor laws, though let's move on, thanks. Ah yes, House Dres. House Dres is probably best known for its incredibly progressive defense of workers' rights. For example, the Dres Union of Slave Overseers was the first workers' association in Tamriel to secure a minimum wage for its members. Really awesome stuff. You can always count on House Dres to be ahead of the ball on emergent social issues. They're also indispensable providers for the Dunmer economy. Hundreds of plantations all around Morrowind depend on House Dres to supply them with farming equipment that will maintain their agricultural output. A significant amount of this equipment is produced in Black Marsh, where scores of House Dres expats selflessly work day after day to continue shipping tools over the Morrowind border. Truly an honorable house that even a Dagoth can admire. One can only imagine the horrors they must have suffered at the hands of the Argonians and their completely unjustified bloodlust during the Red Year.